Hey everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we'll be talking about Heart Signal Season 4, Episode 1. Sarah, we made it to Heart Signal Season 4. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's like we're right back where we started. Our very first episode was a Heart Signal episode.
Yeah, I didn't think about that right away, but it actually is the first show. Heart Signal 2, like Episode 3, is like the first episode of the podcast we ever did.
And I think by the time this episode comes out, it will be like a year since we started this. So there we go. It's all full circle.
Oh, wow.
Happy podcast anniversary.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was more experimental. That was just the show we had been watching at the time.
Yeah.
But we're here for the long haul on Heart Signal 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is serious now.
Every episode.
Yeah. A lot of the listeners might be coming over from our Transit Love 2 recap episodes that we're going through right now. We're on like episode 9 out of 20 over there.
Yeah.
So if those people are checking us out here and want to know where to watch, they can watch Heart Signal 4. We are watching it on Viki.com, Viki.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure you can watch it for free with ads there. You just might have to sign up for the account or whatever. But...
yeah. Or you can pay like $6 and have no ads.
Yeah.
And seems like there's a lot of good content on there, but I've only ever watched Heart Signal on that website. The episode on Viki released like between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Sometime in that time frame. I'm not sure. Which is the actual
like
show
8
airs,
hours after it aired or something.
Yeah, the actual show airs at like 10:30 p.m. at night in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big long discussion about this. It's 9:30 in the morning Eastern of the same day. So they're getting these subtitles out pretty quick.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, and I wrote in my notes that I think the participants of the show might still be in the house, but then there's evidence later on that suggests maybe they're not in the house anymore.
Yeah, we did get like a starting date actually.
Yeah.
For this, which was pretty recent.
A couple other versions of these shows, I really feel like the show started airing before they were done filming.
Yeah.
Which I think when you're watching these shows, it's actually important to know when I think about it. Because if there's like a story, if they have an ending to the story, it's going to change how they edit the episodes all the way through.
Yeah. But also, if it starts airing before they finish everything, like they might pay attention to what's popular amongst the viewers and maybe change the edit going forward based on that too.
Maybe, yeah. But they also don't know the end of the story.
Yeah.
So
who knows if you can trust the edit, but that's always true.
Yeah. So yeah, Heart Signal 4. Come on the adventure with us. It's gonna be fun. So along the way, since we're in the middle of watching Heart Signal 4 and Transit Love 2 right now, I think we're gonna do a bit of a comparison as we go of the two shows, right? What do we like better about each show? And then maybe we can have a big I am this type of show person at the end once we've watched all these.
Yeah.
I think we're actually gonna end up so what we're doing for people who don't know, we're every other week of the podcast we're switching shows. So this week we're talking about Heart Signal 4 episode 1. Next week we're going to be talking about Transit Love 2 episode 10. That's where we are at in that show. And then after that we'll come back to Heart Signal 4, but in order to keep pace we're going to do 2 episodes of the show in one podcast. So it'll be Heart Signal 4 episodes 2 and 3 we'll talk about. Yeah. So ultimately I think we're actually going to wrap up Heart Signal 4 before we finish Transit Love 2.
Oh, you did the math. I haven't paid attention. Do you know how many episodes of Heart Signal there can be, or we just
It's either 14 or 16. It's something like that.
Okay.
So we'll still have like 2 or 3 episodes of Transit Love 2, I think, by the time Heart Signal 4 wraps up.
Okay. But
yeah, we've heard some people like Heart Signal, some people like Transit Love 2. There might be a little bit of a rivalry out there. I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of it here.
Yeah, we'll see which side we end up on by the end of this.
And also, so people know, I have watched all of Heart Signal season 2, but I've not seen any of the other seasons.
I've only watched the first 4 episodes of that season.
Yes. Okay.
And then we stopped podcasting about it, and I got distracted with other things and never finished it.
And at this point in time, both of us have seen 9 episodes of Transit Love 2.
Mm-hmm.
But we did not watch season 1 of that show either.
And we have seen 2 seasons of Singles Inferno, which is another sort of similar show.
Is Singles Inferno your favorite right now?
Yes.
Out of these two, I think so. I think it is too. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I think it's more of the atmosphere of the island or what it is. I like it a little bit better, but
I'll tell you, like, one of the things I remember that I don't love about Heart Signal is how much time we spend with the hosts talking about stuff. I feel like you could
yeah,
cut that out of most Heart Signal episodes, you wouldn't lose a lot. And so the balance of like confessional stuff, host stuff, and just like doesn't feel like production is screwing with things too hard is all the right mix on Singles Inferno for me. Plus the beach vibe is fun.
that's a good breakdown. Yeah, the hosts on Heart Signal really interject their comments, and then they cut to them for this lengthy analysis of them trying to decide who's going to text who,
Yeah.
which is a game that you can just do by yourself. I don't find it that interesting watching some celebrities do it for me,
Yeah.
but it can be funny. I usually watch it anyway, but I don't pay as close attention when I'm
Yeah.
watching the
I
hosts.
frequently I watch it, but I wish it would just move on already most of the time, you know?
They're entertaining people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'd rather be watching the contestants.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's
You ready to just get into it now?
yeah. Oh, we haven't done this in a while. Sorry, you want my my breakdown of what Heart Signal 4 is? If there's any listeners
Yes.
that are really have no idea what they're getting into right now.
Yes, please. We haven't done this in a while. I love it.
I just grabbed the synopsis on Viki.com since I was
Okay.
there. All right. And then you can you can add to it since I don't think this is a full description of the show.
Okay.
All right. Cupid returns for a fresh assault on the hearts of a new group of romance-ready singletons.
An assault. Dang.
Yes.
Okay.
The group has never met before, but must live together in single house. The house rules encourage flirty behavior, but forbid housemates from directly telling anyone that they like them. Instead, they must express their feelings via text message. But there's a twist. All texts to housemates are anonymous, meaning recipients have to guess who is trying to make a love connection with them. That's the synopsis on Viki.com.
I mean, yeah, more or less.
Pretty good. I didn't know they were like actually literally not allowed to tell somebody that they like them. Is that
Yeah.
that actually makes more sense why they always speak in riddles. But I feel like I've never seen that rule specifically stated on these shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what we'll get into is like always on these shows, like, oh, in the beginning it's like you can't talk about your age or your occupation.
Yes, that's always a rule.
Although I do feel like it's like on this like we're gonna see on the show, it's like only the first day they're not allowed to do
Yeah.
it. And I think on even Transit Love 2, it was like by the second day they were already revealing their occupation. So
hmm
they moved up the time frame, I think, on this a little bit. But yeah, that makes sense that they're literally not allowed to tell. I don't know if that's a real rule if you can't tell somebody that you like them, but
Well, they do have a board of rules in the show, but like the subtitles only translated the first 3 of them, and there are
yeah,
3 more rules, so who knows?
I guess the first 3 rules are the important ones. I don't know. But we'll get into it. All right. Anything else you want to add before we start episode 1?
Well, it is they do like live in this house, but they theoretically, it hasn't happened in this episode, but theoretically in future episodes they go about their lives and like going to work and stuff, which is different than, Singles Inferno or a lot of American dating shows where you're like cloistered off
Yeah.
completely. So it's a
The
different
show
vibe.
is pretty like Transit Love and Heart Signal 2 on paper seem like this like the same show. But for those
Yes.
maybe for those listeners who don't know what we're talking about, we say Transit Love 2. Transit Love 2 is essentially the same show except you go into the house with an ex, your former ex boyfriend or girlfriend.
And you're not allowed to tell anybody who that is, so everybody's all tense all the time.
Yeah. So there's an added like mystery like puzzle to solve where you're like, okay, whose ex is with who and why are some people weird to each other?
hmm
Yeah, kind of
And then
thing.
a will they won't they get back together vibe.
Yeah. Or this is all people that have never met before.
Right.
But okay. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. We get to the intro of the show. I wrote down some of the some of the narrator's choice of words for the intro of the show. Ready?
Okay.
The sweetest mystery game in the world.
Ooh.
That's a good. That's fun.
That's a good tagline.
Yeah. A place where unlimited flirting is possible.
That feels like everywhere except
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
maybe not work. That's don't go unlimited flirting at work.
Yeah. But there are a lot of places in the world where unlimited flirting is possible. I guess this is like, hey, you're in a house with single people that are there to flirt.
Yeah, you gotta fill the flirt quota up every day. Make sure
Yeah.
you're doing it enough.
They're also going to say this is the original dating program, which I believe they mean like this might be true for Korea. I feel like this
Maybe?
is true. Like in terms of like the format,
Okay.
like Transit Love is a copy of this format but with a twist.
Right. Yeah.
And I think like Singles Inferno is kind of a copy of this format but with a twist that they're on an
Okay.
island. So I think that's right. Also, this is like the fourth season of the show, so most other ones that I've seen don't have that many seasons.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
would believe that this is the original dating program for Korea.
Sure.
Why not? And then we meet the host, Sarah, of the show.
Yes.
Sang Min is still on the show, which I'm glad to see.
Yes, yes, we do enjoy a Sangmin appearance.
Yeah, we've watched the show The Genius, which Sang Min is one of the main characters, I would say, on that show. And so we knew Sang Min going into this. Usually, I
Yes.
don't know the celebrities that are doing the commentary for these shows, but I know Sang Min, so that's fun.
Yes. This time I know Sang Yoon is one of the younger guys, and he's from Winner, which is a K-pop band. So
Oh, okay.
that's the only other person I'm familiar with on this group of hosts.
Overall, for the hosts in this show, I think we are going to try to talk as little as possible about them, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They interject a lot of comments that I did write down and will probably say for this episode, but as much as we might talk about the hosts, they are like a much bigger part of the show than we are gonna give them credit for.
Yes, absolutely.
They're the hosts. The hosts are yeah, they do a lot on the show compared to some other Korean dating shows. At the end of each episode, the hosts do this like competitively guess who is going to text each other. And this is
Yes.
like a thing that doesn't happen on Transit Love.
Because the host can actually like win money because if they get these guesses
Yeah,
right at
which
the end,
I
they
don't
get
know
a
if I
gem,
believe that.
and then they can trade the gem in at the end of the season for so much money or something. So.
I don't know if I'm buying that. That seems very silly. Maybe though.
Maybe that's how they get paid for this. I don't know.
Singles Inferno and Transit Love though, it's like they might cut to the host making a guess, but they're not like making official guests that are going to be that you're going to be graded on. Yeah, it's a little silly. It's a little too much. We found out it's actually been 3 years since Heart Signal 3.
Dang,
which I'm guessing might have been a COVID hiatus. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah.
But some of these other shows pushed through COVID, I think. So I'm not exactly sure why there was a 3-year hiatus.
Well, with Singles Inferno, you're on an island, so you can quarantine and then you just hang out with people on the island. Whereas here, they're, I don't know, theoretically going to work, or I don't know.
I want to say Transit Love was out. Like the seasons were, so it would have been 2021 and 2022.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why this took 3 years to come back for Heart Signal 4.
But it's here now, so huzzah.
And we find out the participants are going to be in the house for about a month.
Yes.
Which I think is consistent with Heart Signal too. And maybe Transit Love as well. Or the Transit Love might be less. I can't tell.
I think it might be around the same time, but yeah, close enough.
All right. That's the introductions of the show. We're on episode 1, which is titled The 6 Occupants.
Yes.
Only 6, Sarah. That's low.
Yeah, normally we start
number.
with like 8, I'd say. Is normally in like a house show like this.
Actually, looking back, I was like, oh, Heart Signal 2 did only have 6.
Oh, really?
In the intros, but then there was like this 4th guy who showed up later that night.
Oh, the same day,
secret.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he was there by the 2nd day, and then the 4th girl didn't show up until later.
Okay.
So it's not actually that much different, but Transit Love has 8 people to start. Okay, let's meet the occupants, Sarah.
Okay.
Who's first?
Our first person is Mingyu, and I don't know why every time I always write down how they approach this house. He just drives right up to the house. There's no like killer hill like we've seen in other shows. Nice and flat, and he just wanders around the house awkwardly like the first person in these shows always does. Like, is anyone here? What am I supposed to be doing? Production does not tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And it's awkward.
I decided to write down because the hosts talk so much on the show, like we basically get like it's almost like like a director's cut. Like they're talking over the clips so much.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down everything that the host said about the people as they were just like walking into the house.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is Mingyu. He has worn out shoes.
Yes, he does.
They say, "Is he a model?" Which is a thing I feel like, almost everybody on the show gets asked, right? We've talked about this before.
Yes. They cast attractive people. Surprise.
They only said that about Mingyu, though, right? The model question.
Well, yeah, but we haven't gotten to the part where the contestants start guessing each other's jobs.
The hosts, like, only guessed that Mingyu was a model.
That's true.
He has such nice proportions. He's so charismatic.
Is he? I felt like he was just walking around an empty house, but okay.
I feel like charismatic almost means something different in Korean, or the translation isn't perfectly 1-to-1. They use this word a lot when like we haven't even heard the person talk yet. So I'm like, that doesn't really make sense to me. And then they say his hands are very beautiful at some point. So he's a hand model. Maybe that's where
there
we're at
we
with
go.
This guy. Okay.
A charismatic hand model.
And so he's just gonna wait on the second floor living room.
Yes, and we do get a flash of the rules of the house, and again, only the first 3 are translated, and they are: you must return to Signal House every night, choose 1 man and 1 woman to cook together every night, and age and occupation can't be revealed on the first day. Those are some pretty standard rules.
And then there's 4, 5, 6, but we don't know what they are. Yeah, I don't understand the cooking dinner thing. Is it like at least 1 man and 1 woman have to cook dinner? Because literally everybody cooks dinner on the first night. So I don't know what these rules are.
I don't think any of these rules actually matter. It's just
what if
just
they go
guideline?
Go get food and bring it back for dinner. Is that they breaking the rules?
Well, I mean, if 1 man and 1 woman go together to do that, then sure.
Oh
fine.
Yeah, okay, all right. For Mingyu though, I said he just seems a little passive and shy though, right? Even when it's just him here, you get that vibe.
Mm-hmm. He was sat on couch, put pillow on lap, hug pillow sort of vibe, which we'd see sometimes from shyer folks on these shows.
Yeah. Okay. Let's meet the second occupant.
The next person is Jumi, and she is she likes to cook. I don't know.
Yeah, she was the only one that got a confessional as part of her walk up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was mostly, she likes to cook.
Yeah. But she does say, I'm not good at it. I just enjoy
it. It's an important caveat.
Yeah. Cooking is always a big thing on these shows.
Yes. Because a lot of people who are the age that you are on dating shows apparently don't seem to know how to cook. And they're all desperate the first day to figure out who's going to be able to cook for them.
We haven't gotten to the cooking scene yet, but do you think anybody on the show is a cook?
Ooh, no. I don't think anybody particularly gave me that vibe.
Okay.
Usually there is a chef for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think they should go no chef. I guess that maybe they probably just shouldn't worry about it and just whatever happens. But
yeah.
No chef, I think, is funnier.
Oh, she does also say that she doesn't know how to hold back her feelings when she likes someone.
Yeah. Once I know I like someone, I don't know how to hold back my feelings. Okay. She's the only one that has a confessional here, which is interesting to me.
It is weird. I wish we had gotten a little bit of something like that about everybody else.
Yeah. I think that's one thing we both like about Singles Inferno. Like everybody on that show, like when they walk onto the beach, has like a confessional intro package where we get their like point of view of themselves.
Yeah.
And like they might say like, I'm attracted to somebody who's like this or something. And I like it. I like they give us like a baseline of their personality more.
Yeah, exactly.
Than just like this person walks like they're cool or whatever whatever comment we're supposed to pick up on from the hosts here.
Or the subtle change in background music that indicates what kind of person they are.
Yeah. So here are the host comments for Jumi. She's tough. She's chill.
Okay.
She's sincere with her greetings because I think she was very polite to her cab
taxi driver. Yeah.
And not only is she sincere with her greetings, but that is an attractive thing, they said.
Okay.
Yeah. Great personality, and she is polite and cheery and energetic.
Seems like a bunch of great
She hasn't talked to
characteristics
anybody
to
yet.
have.
She hasn't talked. I guess she did. She actually did talk to somebody, like the cab
Yeah.
driver, I guess. So
Yeah.
there was a little bit to go off of, but usually this is literally just like them carrying their luggage into the house, and somehow
Yep.
they say all these things.
She does a real cute thing though when she comes up the stairs, because like the stairs you can have a view from this like upstairs sitting area of people coming up the stairs, and she just kind of like peeks up over the edge of the floor to see if anybody's there before she comes all the way up, and it's very adorable.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, the house layout on these shows is always like stairs to get up to the main hangout living room on the second floor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before she did that though, as soon as she walked in the house, she checked the shoes at the door, and there was only
Yes.
Mingyu shoes, and she was just like, "Oh, those are those are some big shoes. he must have big feet," which is that made me laugh pretty good.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
like, I think she said it out loud to herself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, this guy's got some big feet. Which I don't know. I don't even know if that's actually true or.
I did not get a scale of those shoes with other shoes,
Yeah.
but just gonna have to take her word for it.
Okay. Yeah, they awkwardly meet on the second floor. This is like the usual like awkwardness.
I feel
Of
like
the situation.
this was everybody coming. This whole entire episode is a little bit more awkward than other shows.
Really? Oh, I was gonna say it was less awkward. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Like nobody starts to talk about anything. There is like they do give each other their names, which is perhaps better than Singles Inferno, but nobody even, asked about anybody's MBTI or if they're good at cooking or anything for a long, long time. They just sat there just like real awkwardly quiet for a long time.
They did a little bit of cooking questions. They didn't get deep into the MBTI questions like they did on Transit Love 2.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about this is that not so much with Mingyu and Jumi, but eventually like people are going to come and then they're going to be like, oh, let's get up and look at the house. Let's see, like, let's take a tour of the house together. Like they did something instead of just sitting on the couch in awkwardness. because Mingyu says to her that, oh, he was waiting for about 20 minutes. So if they're waiting like 20 minutes per person,
yeah,
that's a lot. So I like that they got up and actually like did something. They at least had a little bit conversation of being like, oh, this room's nice or whatever. Like,
yeah,
they did something besides just sit there. So I thought it was less awkward. But
fair.
But it's definitely still awkward for sure.
Yes.
They do the usual like, oh, have you eaten anything today? And then they say like, a little bit. Usually, it's what they say.
Yeah.
See, and even here though, they actually go together to get water from the kitchen. That's like way more like normal thing to happen than I've ever seen on these shows.
Okay,
usually the two people just sit there until the third person gets there, but they actually at least got up and did something while they were waiting.
The really awkward part comes when the third person sits down. That's that stretch between the third and fourth person, I feel, is the most awkward time.
Okay. Before the third person shows up though, there's a moment where Jumi like looks away from Mingyu, but like pulls her hair back and like scratches her neck or something, right?
Yes.
And then, so one of the hosts on this show, it's different than it was in Heart Signal 2. It's a different person. But I remember this on Heart Signal 2 also, where like one of the hosts is always like a psychological like love doctor of some sort.
Yeah. So they can point out all the different like quote unquote heart signals that people give off in their body language to indicate who they're interested in.
I do think this is silly, but for whatever reason I always enjoy this part of the show where they just talk about like weird stuff like this. So they say that when Jumi exposed her neck like that, she was showing her carotid artery.
Yes.
Which the hosts say is a sign of expressing your attraction.
Sure. I mean, to me, it just looked like she was looking towards the entrance, hoping somebody else would show up. But sure, maybe that's what it means.
I feel like if Mingyu was like a vampire, this would make sense.
Well, we don't know that he's not.
I guess.
Oh, we have seen him out in the sunlight, though. So okay,
Like,
probably.
oh, look how
Probably not a
tasty I
vampire.
look. Here's my corroded artery. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't attracted to you. All right, we're gonna get a couple moments for this weird, these funny analysis.
Yeah.
I think they're funny. There might be some truth to them actually, but I just think they're funny.
Yeah, definitely. Especially that one. That one's the silliest to me.
Are you gonna go around, Sarah, and when you if somebody exposes their carotid artery, are you gonna have any feelings from that now?
I mean, now I just want to chomp on them, I guess, because you brought up the vampires bit. So sure.
All right, okay. They also have a moment where they kind of like accidentally mirror like rubbing their hands together.
Yeah.
And that did make me say, "Oh, okay, here we go."
I mean, that one I buy. That one's kind of a thing.
I don't know who mirrored who or if it was actually just a coincidence, but it was hard to
Yeah.
tell. They almost did it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. They're already on that level, just so connected.
All right. Who's the third occupant, Sarah? Who we meet
The
next?
third occupant is Giore.
Gyaure.
Giore, there we go. He comes in and does this. He goes and he sits next to Jumi on the couch, and then like 2 minutes later, it's just like this couch is too low, and immediately leaves and goes and sits on this other armchair. And then it's just awkwardly silent for forever.
Yeah.
That's the extent of him arriving.
I feel like this is consistent with these shows. Is that not? I guess not on Singles Inferno, but I feel like there's always there's a couch where you have to sit next to somebody, and then there's a chair where you can choose to sit by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And he only sat there because I guess he's just tall enough that the couch wasn't comfortable, though. It
Yeah.
wasn't like necessarily a reflection of his personality. Like I feel like
Right.
they try to like, oh, the person who sits by themselves is more shy or something is kind of the analysis. Mingyu at one point says like, oh, I don't want to sit in the chair by myself because that chair's for the main character. Is what he said. So he actually like is shy, but he thought that like that chair was like a position of power that he did not want to take, so that's why he didn't sit in the chair.
Well, like that feels like a fair analysis because once this guy sits in the chair, Jumi just like keeps staring at him, like not intentionally, but like she needs to look at something, right? So she keeps like looking at him, and then they awkwardly make eye contact, and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Nothing." It's so awkward.
Jumi is very much willing to make eye contact with people. He is not afraid.
Yeah.
The only thing the host said about Gyaure was he has a very unique name.
Yes, pretty much whenever he introduces himself to people, they're like, "Is that Korean?" And he's like, Yeah, it's Korean.
Yeah,
Come on."
it's Korean. It is unique. I haven't heard a name Gyaure on these shows before.
Yeah.
So a lot of these other names are going to be very similar, at least to me.
Yeah. Similar parts of,
I'm used to the names being, duplicated syllables across multiple participants on the show.
Right.
So it also seems like maybe I didn't really notice, but is Mingyu and Gyaure, are they both considered tall?
Maybe.
I feel like Jumi thought they were both tall at some point. Is kind of how I thought. But then I never like compared them when the third guy comes. I didn't really like notice a difference. So I don't know if they're all tall. I'm always fascinated by the heights.
You always need to know the heights, right? I never like actually saw them stand next to each other and thought about it, but for whatever reason in my brain, Gyauri is the tallest. I don't know if that's true, but my brain has decided he's the tall boy.
Okay. I'll have to pay attention for in episodes 2 and 3 for next time. Maybe I'll get down to the bottom of this. Okay.
Maybe we'll get some sweet height talk and you'll find out precisely who is the tallest.
Yeah, like you said, Jumi and Gyaure are going to make some good... I said good eye contact. It was awkward, but I would say it was good stuff.
It's just the follow-up that was awkward,
They do make it, like, the show really makes it seem like they're looking at each other a lot. I don't know if it's, like, the same clip over and over again.
It might
or if
be.
they actually... Their eyes. I mean, they have 20 minutes to sit there, so their eyes probably wandered.
And nobody talks about anything.
Yeah.
But that's okay, I guess.
I think this happened later, but I wrote it down now that at one point, I think this is after the next guy shows up. This is gonna be fourth. But like Jumi is gonna like get a sweet snack, like a chocolate or something, out of her bag, and then she offers it to Gyaore specifically.
And then Mingyu's all like, "But what about me?
Yeah,
where's my snack?"
Yeah, and then she like, I don't know if she was gonna offer them to the other guys or not, or like, but once they mentioned it, she was like, "Oh yeah, I have 2 left. You can have them." So I thought this meant something, that they really made it seem like she specifically gave one to Gyaore. Yeah.
That and all the eye contact, it seemed like, this is the one she's the most interested in.
Overall, though, I would just say Jumi just seems really excited to be here, is the vibe I felt.
Yeah, she's bringing a good energy.
I wrote down a bit of an awkward energy from Jumi.
Oh, well, yeah.
How do you feel? Okay.
Awkward, but like, not like, I don't, like, I think she'll put in the work to be like getting to know people and stuff, but like is maybe feeling a little awkward right now, whereas some people give off this is always like an awkward energy person. Like Mingyu gives me that vibe. Like he's always going to be a little bit more reserved, but like for her, like the awkwardness energy, feels like just right now, you know?
Maybe this is just a personal thing for me. I think like the eye contact, trying to make, willing to make so much eye contact feels like an awkward energy to me personally, but
okay.
That's probably just a me thing. But I wrote down that she's the early favorite.
Okay.
Out of the first 3, she's the most interesting.
Fair. Yeah.
Everyone, all 3 of them, still awkward though. Waiting for the 4th person. Who's the 4th person we're meeting, Sarah?
The 4th person is Jiwon, and he shows up, and this is like, oh, okay. Here is our most outgoing person. Like immediately, I'm like, okay, he's gonna take care of these awkward shy babies for the next 20 minutes while we wait for the next person.
Yeah, I think he's easily like the least awkward person that's ever come in on day 1. What do you think? Yeah.
He just seems to very easily just talk to people and be like when he comes in, a bunch of them have already gotten drinks from the kitchen, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna get myself one, and then he just brings up a bunch of drinks for the rest of the people who show up, and then he's like, hey, let's go look at the house. Like nobody had quite really done that other than going to the kitchen before that. And so like he's not gonna just sit around and not make eye contact with people for the next half an hour, you know?
He brings the water back to the table, and one of the hosts says, "This man is a force to be reckoned with."
I mean, comparatively, yes, definitely.
This man is a force to be reckoned with. That's a great line. Overall, I loved what this guy was doing. Getting waters, being like, hey, let's not just sit here. Let's go look at the room. Okay, they only show them going to the 2 men's bedrooms, though, which I couldn't tell. Are they on the 2nd floor or the 1st floor? Did you figure this out?
Yeah, I think they were on the 2nd floor.
2nd floor, okay.
And it's 1 room with 2 beds, and then 1 room with 1 bed. So
yeah,
there you go.
Okay. And do you want to hear what the host said about Jiwon when he was coming into the house?
Yes.
All right. Full of confidence.
Fair.
He has charisma.
Yeah.
Manly.
Okay, sure.
He's handsome.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Not model level, but he's handsome.
Just regular person.
I have no idea. These are just what they said. This is not actually my opinion at all. He also brings up, he's the first person to say like, oh, does anybody know how to cook? Oh
yeah, and he kind of basically nominates Mingyu to be the first person to cook, because Mingyu says like, I sort of know how to cook, and he's like, all right, it's your job, thanks.
Yeah, he's like, oh, if you sort of know how to cook, that means you know how to cook. You can go first. You can cook. They all end up cooking anyways, but it seemed like there was a period of time where everybody thought Mingyu was going to cook.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Who's our 5th occupant here?
Our 5th person is Ji-young, and she is the woman with the short hair. I've described her that way in my notes.
Oh, you want the host descriptions?
Oh, they're like all about her when she comes in, if I remember properly.
Yeah. She's pretty.
It's true.
Look at her side profile. She's really beautiful. She's cute. She's full of charm.
Hmm.
Those are the the comments she got.
I will say when she walks into the room, they show all the guys' faces and they all do something weird with their face. Like they have a
Yeah.
reaction to her showing up.
Yeah.
But none of them like talk to her. It's only Jumi that starts talking to her because everyone else is just silent and awkward.
Big smile from G1 that I liked. Huge smile from him.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
like you don't usually get that big a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I was first like thinking, made me think of the comparisons of Transit Love to Heart
Mm-hmm.
Signal, where like I don't think there was any reaction even close to this on Transit Love, because there's
Yeah.
that like awkwardness of like my ex is either already here or like I'm waiting for them to arrive. It just like
Mm-hmm.
has people on the edge a little more, and
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
just
you're
like
right.
they're not just like in the moment as much. So I appreciate these like genuine reactions, that like G1's big smile, that I feel like we don't really get that in Transit Love, because there's just like all this other chaos
Tension
going on
and
in
awkwardness,
people's
yeah.
heads. Yeah. So I like this moment. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
Ooh, Jiyeon is also thirsty, Sarah.
But hey, there's already drinks up here already because G1 had his shit together. So there we go.
There we
Easy to
go. But
fix.
oh no, that doesn't matter, Sarah, because Jiyeon gets up to get her drink, and then Gyaore jumps out of his seat
Uh-huh.
to get the drink off the table for her. So
Yes,
it's as if Gyaore got the drinks, really.
that's true. But then so then the two girls, they go on a little house tour by themselves because the guys have already seen it.
Yeah.
And when they come back, Ji-young's like, "Oh, everybody has slippers. I didn't get slippers. I feel so awkward." And our boy Gyaore just jumps up again and immediately runs to go get her slippers.
I will get them, and he just like doesn't wait for a reply.
Yep.
He's just doing it. He also, I think she introduced herself to everybody, and then he was like the first person to say his name to
Mhm.
her. Yeah.
So I think he's given some pretty strong heart signals here.
When Ju-mi and Ji-young got up to like look at the house though, and all the guys hung back though,
Mm-hmm.
all the guys just I feel like this is a thing that guys do sometimes,
Okay.
where they just kind of all stared at each other when they left and got up, as if to say, "Did you see that girl?" Like, that girl. Yeah. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they all seem taken aback. And then we're gonna get the doctor to break down what might have just happened in these guys' heads.
Yes.
And he calls it brain freeze, which is usually associated with eating something cold. But
Yeah.
he says what happens is that when like they are like seeing this girl, right? And then they're having the emotional part of their brain, like all the blood in the brain is like rushing to the emotional part of their brain to like process the girl they just saw. And then it slows down the thought process of the brain because there's not as much blood there. So he was saying like to the guys, they probably didn't even realize that so much time had passed between like them seeing this girl and not saying anything.
So you're saying she's so hot she stopped time for them.
That's literally what they were
happened.
saying. Yeah. She stopped time for these three guys. They didn't like talk to each other when they left. They just kind of looked at each other and had an understanding.
And the understanding was that's who we're all going after, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. It did seem different.
Yeah.
And also I wrote down that Jumi seems to be aware that the guys are into Ji-young.
Oh yeah. She noticed the time stopping.
She gets
for them.
a little more shy and quiet now.
Yeah.
Is the vibe that at least they made it seem like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was fun. Let's meet the sixth occupants.
Well, the sixth occupant is Jimin, and she rings the doorbell, but nobody goes to answer it.
The only one to ring the doorbell.
Is like I feel like if somebody rings
Yeah.
the bell, like aren't you gonna go get them? But no, nobody goes.
I would have definitely gone. I think, to get the door.
Yeah.
Unless they opened it like immediately after, and I was like, okay, I don't think.
Mm.
But yeah, they all decide just to talk about going to get her, and then they just sit there and don't get there.
Yes.
All right, you want the host comments?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
I do.
She's the first love type.
Oh.
What does that mean, Sarah?
Like, I'm gonna assume like a girls next door type of look. Like, just like your first love is,
Like
I don't know.
young boys are into you? Are into this
Well,
girl?
I mean, like she's got a youthful look, and
Okay.
I don't know.
I didn't really know what that meant.
Okay.
And then not to be outdone by the next comment, which is she's straight out of Architecture 101.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. She built like a house. I don't think that's accurate at all.
Because like 101 is like basic architecture, right? So I don't know if it like
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be a compliment.
Yeah.
Like she's
I
like
just don't
prototype.
understand
Like
it.
she's like the prototype
Oh, there you go.
kind of.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
but even that's like, do you want to be the prototype? I don't know. I think it was meant to be a compliment. And then they say she once she talks for the first time and introduces herself, they say she sounds a bit nasally, which is probably the meanest thing they say about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
They also say she's so pretty, and she's down to earth and charismatic. Don't know
I'm
where
not
they
sure
got
how
that
you
from.
get that from.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
she rang a doorbell. I guess that's all we got to go on so far.
After all the hosts kind of said their bit about the person
Mhm.
coming in, I did notice that they said Jimin was pretty and they said Jiyoung was pretty, but I don't know if they said that about Jumi.
Jumi.
Yeah, she was tough and
Hmm.
chill, and her greetings were attractive, and she has a great personality.
Yeah, you're right. They did not. I mean, she is also cute. Everybody is
Yeah,
attractive on the show.
yeah.
So
She is like a different kind of cute, I would say, but
yeah.
I don't think I would have snubbed her
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
given her like a
definitely.
looks comment, at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe the hosts were trying to be like, all right, let's not focus on their physical attrattributes. Let's try to say some other stuff.
Let's not immediately objectify them. Oops.
But
We've
then when
done
that
it.
second girl came in the house, they were like, we have to. And then everything went out the window after that.
Yeah.
So before Jimin sits down on the couch, though, the show makes a really big moment out of her taking her coat off, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. I mean, her dress
There
was
was
cute,
something about it that probably would have caught my attention, but I don't
Okay.
really know how to describe it though.
A little like presentational, I guess. Like she's like
Yeah.
taking off her coat and being like, "Ooh, look."
They do it. They describe it in a way almost like yeah, presentational kind of, but almost. I think at one point they say like as it like almost unladylike is the term they used.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
see
know.
that. I mean, you got to take your coat off somehow. I didn't quite get what they were going after.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but it yeah, it would have caught my attention for sure. it it is like a bit of like a reveal of her like body and outfit like all of a sudden is how she kind of
Mhm.
took it off. And
Yeah, I
I think they
guess.
talk about how like she took it off but she also like turned around and kind of like had her back to them, which is something they might have done some analysis on but I didn't write down. I don't know.
Mm.
They say she takes her coat off in a daring way, I think was like a subtitle on the screen at one point.
Okay, sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was fun. Anything else from the introduction, Sarah, that you want to talk about?
Well, she when she sits down, she specifically looks at Jiwon and like asks if he's eaten. Like she greets him
G1.
specifically.
Oh, okay.
Like straight out of the gate, she's like, "Ah, that one."
Oh, okay. I missed that. All right. What is a bit weird about this that they're going to talk about later is that I don't know how long they sat on the couch before they get up and look at the house after Jimin gets there. But like everybody else had to like sit there for at least 20 plus minutes waiting for
Right.
the last person to get there. So they all kind of had a time to talk when they felt like they had to sit there, except Jimin's not really going to talk. She's going to like introduce herself and then they're going to like get to the TV show basically.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weirdness of entering the house last.
Yeah, a little bit of disadvantage because we are about to find out that they are supposed to text someone immediately.
Yeah. For that though, they do get up and look at the house as a group.
Yes. And we see there's one women's room and it's just 2 sets of bunk beds in it.
Yeah. But there's 4 beds, Sarah.
Yes.
which means we should be getting at least a fourth girl on the show.
Yes.
You would assume there's got to be a fourth guy too, but we have not seen the fourth bed.
Oh, maybe there is a secret bedroom like there was in season 2.
Yeah. In season 2, though, it was like the contestants noticed a door that they could not get into.
Yeah.
But they did not highlight that.
Or they might just move another bed into the room that only has one bed in it now. That could be an option.
Yeah. I think this is all still on the second floor. So like all the bedrooms are on the second floor.
And then there's also what they call a playroom.
I like that they call it a playroom.
And that's like got a TV in it, and there's like a record player and a bunch of comics and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Maybe some board games I wrote.
Oh yeah, okay.
Music, yeah. It's almost like, I want to say man cave, but universal gender cave.
Yeah, an entertainment room.
Entertainment room, that's fair, yeah. Playroom is maybe not the best translation.
Kind of a childish sounded to it, but
or extremely adult.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. There's no in between.
That's where my wouldn't playroom.
Fair. And then there's also a courtyard on the first floor with like a fire pit.
Yeah, which is it inside though?
It seems to be like it's got windows in the ceiling and like
okay.
Like there's no room above it, but it is closed, which is weird.
It's like a gas-lit fire pit though. So there's not really like smoke, I think. So it's like it could be indoors. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there's also a dining room area and a kitchen on the first floor.
Yes.
So the second floor seems a lot bigger than the first floor.
That means there's plenty of room for a secret bedroom on the first floor. Yeah.
Maybe, okay.
Or maybe it's just where they do laundry, random spare rooms.
All right, and then it's time to text people already, Sarah. This is new.
This is so early.
Yeah. I wasn't I was like, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I don't remember this. But they're going to tell us that the hosts are going to tell us that this is a new rule for season 4.
Yes. And they have to text the person who gave off the best first impression.
Yes, first impression. This is rough.
Yep. But also meaningless. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's meaningless, but
like there's no
you can make it meaningless depending on what you text the person, but
I guess that's true.
I mean, I think you could do something with it.
Yeah.
I wrote do all the guys text Ji Young? That was my immediate thought.
Yeah, I thought 2 of them would.
Oh, did you actually predict these? I didn't bother predicting these.
Yeah, I thought Mingyu would text Jimin, and then the other 2 guys would text Jiyoung, and then Jumi and Jiyoung would text Gyeore, and Jimin would text Jiwon. That was my guess. I don't know if I remember if I was right.
I felt like there was nothing to go off of, so I didn't even bother.
Oh, yeah. I just went off of whatever the edit was trying to tell me in terms of the faces people made when other people walked into a room.
I do feel like that is the strategy if you are trying to predict the text on the show. It's like sometimes they might make it hard, like they're showing an equal edit for 2 people, so you make it hard to choose. But for a lot of times, it's like they're showing you faces of people in reaction to other people because they are going to end up texting each other. So they have to like justify it by showing you these like weird little reactions that they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah, who are you gonna text?
Who am I gonna text? I think I kind of would text. I would. Wait,
you're choosing out of 6 of them, right?
I know. Yeah. This is where I'm like, do I pick 2 people I would text? Do I just pick one?
You can't pick 2. No, you only get one. You only get one.
Well, okay. If I'm on this show, I only get to choose from the guys. But I always
no. I'll give you free reign over anybody you want.
Okay.
You only get one choice.
I think it's Jiyoung is who I text.
Jiyoung. Oh, you're with the guys. Okay. Or you're with you're with the bros being like, "Yo, did you see that girl?"
I just like she seems like she's got a bright personality from this brief little moment, like
okay.
She's smiley, she's pretty. Yeah.
Okay.
Who you text?
Would you have gone with the girl? Would you have gone with the girls to tour the house, or would you sat there with the dudes and been like, "Can you guys see that girl?"
No, I would have gone with the girls to tour the house.
Oh, you would have missed the whole guy experience.
I would miss broing out, but I'd spend time with the person I was maybe interested in. So
true.
Who's winning, huh? Yeah,
okay.
me.
All right.
So who you texting?
I think I would actually text Jimin.
Okay, fair.
Just because of the way she took her coat off.
Yeah, it's very
and
provocative, I guess.
actually, it's not really. Yeah, it's not really so much the coat. I do like her outfit better than the other two girls. I think. I don't know what it is. Like they're out. The other two girls' outfits are more like maybe like they're more girly
Okay.
or like, and we're gonna get more indications of this, but like I don't know. Jimin seems like she might be more of an active person. What kind of the vibe I got.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, I think I would go with her. And what would you text? Because I wrote like I'd probably say something nice about her outfit or something. Is what my idea.
Oh yeah.
That idea is going to end up being like the most aggressive text out of any of the texts the guys send on this.
I'm just
I
gonna
thought I
say
was
that
being low key, but I actually went too far.
these boys all have a weak text game. I'm just gonna say that straight up. Like
In the first text, the next text,
I want
I'm
to
not
say
sure.
probably even the next text too.
They're gonna text at the end of the night too. So
Yeah, I would text. Well, I don't know. It would depend on. I'd need to have a moment where we talked about something that I could reference. Like that's the go-to move.
okay.
Like right.
You would do that.
So
You
it's
just
hard
want to make
to.
it obvious that it's you. Okay.
Yeah, because these other ones are a lot of these are very vague, and it's like, well, this doesn't help this person know that you're interested in them at all.
It's a little bold to do that so early. I guess you'd have like a confidence about it. Like because it's first impression text, I don't know if I necessarily want the person to know that I text them.
You don't want them to know that you think they're attractive. I mean, that's basically what you're letting them know, right? Like, yeah, good job.
I don't know because like it's like, oh, I have to text somebody, so I have to do it, right? But I don't know. I don't want to make somebody think like, oh, I'm like really into them.
I don't know that anybody's taking it that seriously yet, right? Maybe.
I guess.
Maybe
I don't know. I would be a little too shy to, I think, to be like, because it's like first impressions, like we literally haven't talked yet. I don't think I'd be bold enough to be like, I want you to know this is me and I think you're attractive. Like, okay. I'll just like make them feel good about themselves, and maybe later they'll figure out that I sent that text if it's beneficial to me later.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how I would go. Later in the night text, though, I might be more on your team. But this is the first time we've ever seen these first impression texts, so yeah, I have a little bit different thought about them than normal. Because we're usually both on team, like, just put something down that makes it obvious it's you. And that's, like, you accomplish the task if you've done that.
Exactly.
Okay. G1 texts pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Before anyone else. And then he's just kind of, like, hanging out.
That's the kind of guy he is, you know? Knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And then we get this flashback of, I guess the guys did maybe talk a little bit when they were by themselves. And G1 was able to, like, convince the other two guys to, like, give him the one person bedroom.
It didn't even take a lot. All he had to do was bring up the conversation, admit that he wanted the single room, and also be like, I get up so early, guys. I gotta be at work at 6. You don't want to room with me. You don't want me waking you up.
Yeah.
that did it.
Would you want the single bedroom, Sarah?
Yes.
You would, okay.
Because it gives you a place to talk to people without having to worry about other people being around. And you're not here to make friends with the dudes. They're your enemies.
I want to have a good time. No, I think I'd want a roommate.
Okay.
I think also, like, some of the best relationships on these shows sometimes is just like the dudes like have like broing out, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's some of the funnest relationships on these shows. I don't want to miss out on that.
Okay. But then you're just gonna feel bad later when you try to go after the same girl. It's just gonna be a bummer.
I can handle it.
Okay.
All right, different approaches so far from both of us. Here we go. Jimin seems like she knows who she wants to text, but she kind of struggled with deciding what to text.
Yes, but she spent like the least amount of time with anybody, so it's extra hard to figure out what she's gonna send.
Yeah, and all the girls, I would say, just they seem really excited to be there. Like they're all sitting in the women's bedroom and they're chatting and giggling about their texts, and they just seem excited to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good energy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to these texts. Mingyu gets a text.
It says, "Thank you in advance for tonight's dinner."
But there's more to it. It says, like, watch your hands, too.
Oh.
Not wash. Not wash.
Watch. Okay.
Watch your hands. Which I was like, Does
That
this mean
sounds ominous.
like don't cut yourself is the idea?
Yeah, probably.
We've actually seen like in I think in Heart Signal 2 and Transit Love 2, like on night 1, like some bro cuts his hand while cooking.
Yes. And then in Singles Inferno season 1, like somebody burns himself. Like,
Yeah.
cooking is dangerous.
Is this like a reference to like other instances of the show?
I think that we just didn't get to see the full conversation where Jiwon basically makes Mingyu the cook, like,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, like offers him up as the first person. There was probably some more conversation where he's like, I'm really not that good, you know, I'm probably gonna cut myself or something, you
Oh, I see
know.
what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so this text has to come from Jumi because she was the only woman who was there at the time of that conversation.
That is also how I felt, yeah. I mean, they could have reset it
Talked
later,
about
but
it again later,
yeah.
but yeah.
It makes sense that this is Jumi. All right. Gyaore gets a text, Sarah.
Thank you for looking out for me.
All
This
right.
is to be Ji-young, right?
Gotta be
Because he
Ji-young.
went and fetched her some slippers like a very eager puppy.
Yeah. And the water bottle. Don't forget the water bottle.
Oh, yeah. And the water bottle. Yeah. Yeah. He is there if she needs things picked up.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we think that's Jiyeon. And then Ji-won gets a text.
It's like 2 blushing smiley emojis.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the first time I've ever seen an emoji only text on one of these shows.
Yeah. Because Jimin didn't know what to text. So she just did smiley faces.
I mean,
she probably had like
literally
no inside jokes with this guy because they didn't talk at all.
Yep.
So I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah. That's a decent text from the women here.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Every guy got a text. That's pretty rare.
Yeah, yeah. No doubling up here, so that's good.
Yeah. All right. Jiyeon gets a text.
It was nice meeting you. I hope we get to know each other more. What kind of a bullshit text is that?
Yep.
How are you supposed to know who's that from at all? That's from literally anyone.
Yeah. Didn't say I'm attracted to you or indicate who it was. So
it should have been like
double fail.
Hope those slippers fit well or something. Because I'm just assuming this is from Yore. Because if he's going to fetch her slipper, he's going to text her, right?
Yeah, I think we get enough evidence later or I don't know. In my mind, this is Gyaore.
Yeah.
But there actually isn't like I don't think at any point we can 100% guarantee that it is. Like we don't get.
Yeah, we never get confirmation on this. But
we think it's Gyaore. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Jumi gets a text. Kind of unexpected, right?
Yeah, I thought that she was going to end up like awkwardly with no text and I was going to be sad.
Yeah.
But it says, it was nice meeting you. I hope we get along.
All right.
Another vague fail.
No idea who that one's from.
Yep.
But then Jumi gets a second text. Now that's extra surprising. Okay.
Maybe it'll be better. Nope. It's let's get along for a month. What does that mean?
It's because the show is for a month. That's fine.
I know but it almost sounds like, I don't like you, but let's just get through this for a month, okay? I mean, I know that's not what it says, but that's what it feels like.
I'm not here to actually date anybody after this is over.
I'm not here to make friends.
Just a month
through this.
Just a month is good.
Yeah.
I think it's basically the exact same sentiment as the other 2 texts the guy said.
Yeah, 100%. These boys have a weak text game.
So Jumi ends up getting the most text out of anybody, and Jimin gets 0 text, which I thought was weird because I would have texted her was what I thought. But once the hosts started explaining or pointing out that like, oh, she was the last one there, they didn't really have time to talk at all. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, sad face and a rough start for Jimin.
But all of these girls are like sitting together, basically watching each other get texts. And this show does not send you you didn't get any messages text, so you can't even like pretend there's no mystery.
Yeah, they
right?
should do that, right? Yeah, they should.
So like she is very awkwardly not getting any texts, sees Jumi get 2 texts and just like, I don't know, like that's gotta be kind of embarrassing and awkward. And so she has a like very audible, like, okay response to this, like I don't know, it's weird. Like they should send you didn't get any text or something. Keep the mystery alive.
Jimin came to play, and she didn't realize how hard she was going to have to play so fast, but she's ready now.
Yeah, this really like kicked her into like taking it up a level.
this is also where I wrote, like, if I'd complimented Jimin's outfit, that would have been the most aggressive text out of all the guys' texts. Would you have given me the best text?
It's a very low bar, and it's still too vague unless you had a conversation about her. I know you're not trying to do that. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm actively not trying to do that, but because the other ones are also not specific, do I win the text?
Yeah, you're at least giving her a compliment
Let's
instead
go.
of just
Okay,
like,
I won.
"Hey, fellow human, here is generic greeting." Yeah, so you're better than that.
All right, nice.
It's a low bar. Don't get too excited.
Ooh, and and then we get another doctor science explanation moment here, where I think what they're trying to say is like, because Jumi was like in the house first and she's really good at making eye contact with people, like the doctor explains how like when you're in an unfamiliar environment and someone makes eye contact with you, it makes you feel like more comfortable, or like it gives you a feeling of comfort when you like make eye contact with somebody when you're like a little on edge or something.
Okay.
Something like that. It was like a way to explain why Jumi got 2 texts, because like she was there for the longest amount of time with the guys, and she like made eye contact with them a few times, and she mostly made eye contact. They made it seem like with Gyaorei and Mingyu, which we also think makes sense, as to those are the 2 people that texted her, right?
No. Gyaorei
Oh no, okay,
definitely
no.
would have texted.
Oh no, Gyaomei. Oh no, we
yeah.
think Gyaorei texted. Okay, I don't know. I guess maybe she was making eye contact with
G1 too.
G1
She's
too.
just
I don't know.
throwing eye contact all over the place. I think she actually like tried to have a conversation too, like with people. Like she was,
Yeah.
or she did hand out candy. Like maybe that's some of it too.
It felt like a little bit of like a burn on Jumi again kind of explanation though, where they're like, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to explain it to themselves, but it was like, this isn't what you would expect to happen, but it makes sense if you think about it like this.
Well, I think maybe part of the surprise was like, so she showed up second, and there wasn't a big reaction from Mingyu because he's shy and awkward, and she was just the first one to show up. But we do get like a bigger sort of reaction to the other 2 girls walking in because all the guys are there, and
okay,
maybe they don't all feel individually observed while they're, like, so they're a little freer with their responses, and maybe that's like what they're trying to explain. Like that's why it feels like Jubi shouldn't have gotten the 2 texts.
But so you think if Jiyoung shows up as the first girl and then Jumi shows up second, then all the guys are gonna sit on the couch and be like, "Oh, did you see that girl, Jumi?"
Maybe not, but I don't know. I just think that she didn't have a chance for having that kind of reaction just because of when she showed up. So it might seem like she's less desirable or something, but
yeah,
clearly not. She got 2 texts.
I kind of like the doctor's explanation. It was like, because she was there the longest and she was there first, she like, like everybody's probably nervous when they come in the house, and they were like this point of comfort for them.
Yeah.
So in these very limited amount of time where they have to choose to text one person, they're like, oh, this person made me feel comfortable, so I'm going to text them.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes sense.
But there's a clear, at least I feel like Mingyu really fucked up his text. He should have been like, thanks for that candy you didn't want to give me, or something, just to be like, hey, it's me. Like there was
that really doesn't seem like a Mingyu text though, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But if he tried harder, it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, because if Gyaorei had texted Jumi, he could have wrote like, oh, thanks for the candy. Although that could have applied to all 3 of them also. So that's also confusing.
That's why you need to like add the weird angle of I made you give it to me, or just something to acknowledge who you are. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. That was fun. What do you think? What do you think about the first impressions X? Interesting TV.
Why not? It's,
yeah. I don't hate it. It's fun to think about who you would text. Like later on, once they're like getting to know each other, it's less about like what you think of the contestants, and you're thinking more of like how they think. For this one, since like you almost know them as much as they do, it's like, oh, who would I text here? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And it did I feel like it influenced how people behave going into the evening. At least how the women behave going into the evening.
Yeah. It definitely like gets the game. You feel like the game has started. It's not really, it's not really a game, but the TV show has started.
In a way, it kind of is.
It kind of is. Yeah, I guess you're competing against people to
We're
some degree.
definitely competing.
But yeah, that's true. But it's like as soon as you're there and you've introduced yourself, it's like, oh, we're already texting people and you're already thinking about it. You don't even get like
Hmm.
whatever 8 hours of just fun until the first night text. I think it's good.
And you get to like adjust your behavior immediately with the like end of night text. It's
Oh
basically you get a
yeah.
text, you go to bed, and you have time for emotional processing to be a reasonable human in the morning. This way, it's like, oh, nobody texted me. I got work to do. Let's go. It's
Yeah.
different.
It could be good or bad. I think the way it plays out here is like it ends up being more good than bad, maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, season 5, do it again. Why not? I like it.
Yeah.
All right, time to get to business. It's time to make dinner.
All of the guys are in the kitchen, so they didn't leave poor Mingyu to be alone and cut himself in the kitchen.
This is where I was confused, and I was like, oh, maybe the guys are on this first floor, but I think it's just like they didn't like the women like took
They all
longer to
like
get
went to
ready.
change and get
Yeah,
ready and stuff, and
yeah. Except
yeah.
Jimin comes down first, and it seems like she came down like pretty significantly earlier than the other two women.
Yeah. She needs to, get a head start to make up for her,
You think
showing
that's
up
what it
late.
is, or she just like isn't as into doing a bunch of makeuping kind of
Oh, no, I think
activities?
she was determined. She's like, I'm going to go
Oh,
find the
okay.
boys, that I'm going to talk to the boys.
See, my read on Jimin is gonna be she's less into that kind of stuff,
Okay.
but you didn't necessarily see that.
Her hair is really good. It doesn't just show up like that. She got put work into that.
Okay, there's a couple moments where like Jumi and Ji Young are gonna like talk about like shoes or like a magazine they both like to read. And like
Hmm.
Jimin's just gonna like sit there and be like, I have nothing to contribute to this conversation, kind of like
Yeah, the way I
kind of
read that
vibes.
was she's not here to make friends, you
Oh,
know?
really? You don't think it's like no matter what they were talking about, she would not be contributing?
Maybe. I mean, it feels like at least after the point at which I forget. I guess they started talking about that before they got the text, but definitely after they get the text, there does seem to be a little bit of a chasm between them. There's like the two girls that hang out together, and then there's Jimin. Like she's separate and different in a way. Like even when they're interacting in the kitchen, when all the girls are down there, like I don't know, the vibe between like she does not they don't seem super friendly to her. She doesn't seem super friendly to them. I don't see them really getting along in the future.
Yes, I agree. I don't know. There's something about it. Like, for some reason, we don't know these the participants' occupations yet. For some reason, Jimin just gives me like she might be in a more like athletic kind of field of occupation or something. I don't
Okay.
know. That's the vibe I got.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we'll see. um, yeah. So Jimin comes down first. I mean, I didn't even write down anything. Like, she's not that aggressive with talking to the guys, is she?
I mean, she comes down to the kitchen and basically like stands in the middle of them and starts talking to them. It's not super big, but it's, she had a mission to go like start talking to these
Just
guys
be
because she
there.
didn't get the chance. Or like, yeah, like just being there is,
Okay. All right.
especially when the other girls aren't around. Like anytime you get time with them that they don't have with other people, have a little bit of an advantage there, especially early on when nobody's really made any connection yet.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Eventually, though, Jumi is going to come down, and they're really going to make it seem like Jumi and Jimin are like passively aggressive to each other and like
Yeah.
competing with each other.
Hmm.
This is so weird. I feel like they're going to make it seem like all the women are being like really passive aggressive. It's like it's more like the two against Jimin
Yeah,
than
it's
anything.
Jumi and Ji Young against Jimin, it feels like.
Yeah. But what's so weird about it is like all of them texted a different guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly. Like
they're
they're
actually
not.
like theoretically, I mean like none of the first texts really mean anything, but on paper they're not even competing against each other yet.
Yeah, but they have no way to know that.
Yeah. But it's less about who they text and just like the fact that who texted them, right?
Hmm. Well, from Jimin's perspective, like she didn't get texted by the person she texted, and that means he texted one of them. So automatically, she's got to compete with whichever one that was to like draw his attention to her instead, even if the girl he texted isn't interested in him.
Yeah. But okay, it makes sense from Jimin's perspective because she didn't get any
Yeah.
texts, right? But
Hmm.
is like Jumi got like two texts, So she should be feeling pretty good about herself, right? But is she
Yeah.
like noticing that Jimin is like being more flirty now, and then she's a little like defensive about it? Like, there's gonna be like weird
Maybe?
moments where she's kind of passive aggressive towards Jimin
Yeah.
in a way that I don't really get it because she theoretically should be feeling good.
Yeah, she shouldn't
I
have
don't
a
know.
reason, but yeah.
There's some weird dynamic going on with the women here that
Yeah, it's
it's
unclear.
it seems more than just like they're competing for these guys on the show. It's
Okay.
like I feel like they wouldn't get along in real life
Mm.
either.
Okay.
But well, I don't
Maybe.
know what that is. Okay. Yeah, so G-Man is like kind of gonna like stand back, and then most people are gonna like be doing something cooking, and then
Mhm.
G-Man's gonna like come up with ideas. I don't know. Like I almost felt like G-Man, like I thought she like might know how to cook, but she like just doesn't want to tell people what to do. I really couldn't decide what she was
Yeah.
doing.
It does seem like anytime like a guy would pay attention to a girl, like and they'd have a moment, she would be like, "Oh, but help me with this," or "How does this work?" or like to draw their attention away. At least that's how the hosts were sort of
Yeah,
painting
I am
it.
inclined not to believe that aspect of the edit because it's just so easy to be like
Mm,
every time Jimin talks to a guy, oh, she's interrupting
yeah.
another girl. But really, it's like these are just the moments that Jimin decided to talk to a guy.
Yeah.
Like everybody's in the room, you're always gonna be
It's
distracting
true.
from another person if you choose to talk about somebody.
I did love this one moment though where Mingyu was watching Jiyoung just absolutely struggle with an onion. Like she could not chop
Oh,
it. She
Jian
was
is really bad at chopping onions.
and then like he's about to help her with the second onion, but then he gets called away by Jimin, and then like Jiyoung's face is just like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with this onion now?" it was
Yeah,
hilarious.
I guess Jian did have a reaction to it, so
Yeah, it was more about the "what do I do now" rather than I can't believe she took him away from me.
it's either
You know?
that or it's just like there's already some weird rift between
Mm,
Jimin and the other two girls where they're just like hyper aware of like anything that Jimin is doing that is like slightly taking away from their
yeah.
experience or something. Like I don't know it like is Jiyoung gonna have that reaction if Jumi was distracting
Yeah, it
Mingyu
doesn't
there? I don't know.
feel like it doesn't feel like that would happen. This is
Yeah.
such a strange like I don't think any of the shows I've watched have this sort of vibe on day one. Like
Yeah.
a weird rift between some of the people.
I just feel like it's a personality thing that is outside of the scope of romance. That's what I think.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe we may never find out. Yeah, so they really make Jimin like seem like an outcast a little bit, at least among the women.
Yeah, she seems to be getting along fine with the men.
Yeah, so Ji Young is like chopping onions still. She's taking forever to chop the onions. And then like Jumi is like chopping garlic or something.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's 6 people in a kitchen. Like not everybody can really be doing something at all
Yeah,
times.
there's like not room for 6 people
Yeah.
in this kitchen
So
even.
Jimin like comes and just kind of stands on the side of the kitchen and is looking at them chopping and or whatever. And then Jumi just says to her, will you just stand there? As if to say, like,
Yeah.
are you just gonna stand there and do nothing? Like, is that the vibe of
Yeah.
that? Right? Okay.
Yeah. But she said it with like a laugh, so it was not so hard
So
cutting, but
it's
it like the
or it's
undercurrent was still there, you know? It
or
was
it's
like
even
she's
more menacing. I don't know.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. Which Jimin says nothing in response, but immediately walks away to like
That's
the
a
other to
fair
the other side of
response,
the
yeah.
kitchen. Yeah.
Yep.
So like I feel like normally on these shows, like somebody might be a little blunt with a comment like that, but then the other person would just say some like silly explanation in response, and then they would like laugh about it.
Yeah.
But there,
Yeah.
this was like Jimin didn't want to even bother to justify what she was doing to Jumi. She just like
Yeah.
was like, "I don't care about you. I'm moving on," kind of moment. Oh man.
But eventually she does end up like making a sauce or something with like Jiwon. And then
Hmm.
she ends up like feeding him and she ends up feeding Gyore. So like
Yeah,
I feel like she wins cooking, right? Like that's
that's. I
what
mean,
you're
I
going
think she
for.
won cooking. I think Jimin is doing good stuff here. I don't know. Jimin,
Yeah.
I said earlier, Jumi might be the early favorite, but I think Jimin is the favorite
Okay.
by the end of this episode. What do you think? Who do you like who you liking the most at the end of
Uh,
the
I think it's still like Gia.
Ji Yeon? Okay. Is it just a looks thing? I don't think she's particularly interesting. We haven't gotten to see like the interesting side of her personality yet.
I like when there's a little bit later when she goes to the grocery store. I like their interactions when they go. Like she seems
Okay.
sweet and nice.
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess I was more impressed by Gyaore in that segment, but okay, we'll get to it. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm excited for Jimin content. I'm excited to see where she goes and everything. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like you said, Jimin, she gets to feed people, which is usually a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was just taste testing though. Is taste testing a hack for feeding somebody?
Oh, it might be, but it's still.
I feel like it always happens on these.
I feel like one of the girls gave her a little bit of a side eye when she saw, like, she noticed.
I mean, these two,
like,
Jimin can't do anything without these other two girls noticing.
That's true.
She could be like, can I borrow a charger? I lost mine, and they'd do like, oh, that Jimin lost your charger? I don't think so.
Fair.
Jimin can't get away with anything right now. All right. Dinner is going to be ready, though, around 8:30. That's not too late. We've seen later dinners.
Give it a couple days. Their schedules are going to be ridiculous.
Maybe. I don't know if this show's as bad with that. The guys are all on one side of the table and the girls are on the other.
Yeah.
All right. That's how we do.
Yeah.
I don't think that will last. I think they'll switch it up. Hopefully.
Yeah, probably.
We find out Ji-yeon doesn't drink or
Mm-hmm.
isn't drinking tonight. I couldn't tell.
It sounded like doesn't drink because she
said like
has, like, the next day she suffers for it, whenever
she doesn't like the next day struggles. But it doesn't sound like she was necessarily against it. It was just like, it's got to be a really special occasion or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
And then we found out later that Gyaore also isn't drinking.
Yes.
Which I also don't know if that's an everyday thing or just tonight.
I wasn't sure if he wasn't drinking or someone just thought he wasn't drinking. Because he did, like, it comes up in reference to him driving somewhere. And he's like, I can just get a car, like a cab or something.
Oh. You think
So
maybe
he
was joking about not drinking? Oh, okay.
Or maybe just, like, because it was somebody from the other side of the table and maybe, like, his glass was still not empty or something. And they just assumed, I don't know. I wasn't completely clear.
Everybody had something in their wine glass, but I couldn't tell if, like, the people not drinking had, like, juice or something, or like somebody poured wine for everybody and then they just didn't drink it.
I think somebody poured wine for everybody.
And if they weren't drinking it, they just didn't drink it. Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, though, while people are eating, this is just an awkward, quiet dinner.
Yeah, it is quiet,
like,
and then, like,
back and forth, maybe.
Sometimes people will make eye contact and then start giggling and then look away and then silence again. Oof. It's an awkward dinner.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I would expect if I was going into the house, this kind of dinner.
It's just, no, but there has to be rules on all these shows where they're just like, you're not allowed to ask about hobbies. Because nobody ever talks about their, like, this is the perfect time to be like, what kind of fun shit do you like? Get to know people that way. You don't need to know their jobs or their ages to know that they go paragliding on the weekend or, like, to raise cactuses or something, like,
yeah.
learn some shit about each other, please.
That's true. Yeah, you're
right.
They
never do.
They never do, yeah. Eventually, though, Jumi is randomly going to ask if anyone has a birthday in this month coming up. Well, they're going to be on the show, I guess. Is this a thing, Sarah? In Heart Signal 2. I mean, sorry, not Heart Signal 2. In Transit Love 2, it wasn't even the first episode. It was just like randomly one day someone was like, yo, like, it'd be so cool if we could, like, celebrate a birthday. Like,
and then somebody else was like, my birthday's tomorrow.
On that show, it was like, oh yeah, today is my birthday.
Oh yeah.
And on this show, Jiwon says, oh, actually, tomorrow is my birthday.
The moment that Jumi asked if it was anybody's birthday this month, I wrote down, oh, see, James, it's not weird. It's totally fine. But then Jiwon said it was his birthday the next day, and I'm like, now it feels like a production plan.
Does production wait to start filming when somebody's about to have a birthday? Is that a thing? Is that a thing on these shows?
We need at least somebody to have a birthday. Maybe that's part of the casting process. I don't know.
Maybe that was why it took 3 years. Like they casted somebody and then they were like the birthday person, but then they had to drop out the last second, and then they were like, "Crap, everybody else in the cast doesn't have a birthday for like 8 months." And then they were like, "I guess we had to wait 8 months," and then they just kept having people bail
Maybe.
until it was finally like, "Okay, we have
Yep.
6 people. One of them has a birthday tomorrow. We can start filming."
But it does give us a precise starting point for filming. He says his birthday is April 12th. This is the day before his birthday. So filming started April 11th, 2023. That was hella recent.
Yes, which is a Tuesday.
They're always starting on weird days of the week.
Tuesday's a really weird day of the week. I feel like Thursday is like the normal day, the sweet spot, where it's like they have work the next day, but then they have a weekend right after. So you get to see their day schedule, and
then you get to shove them on some dates.
And then they have a weekend dates, yeah. But
not
April
this show.
11th, I don't think there's any holidays that week, but I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. And then I wrote, okay, well today the show didn't air till May 17th, so that's theoretically more than a month later than April 11th. So maybe the show is done filming before they aired the first episode.
Yeah.
So
but were they done editing already? That's a question.
They might not be done editing, but they at least know how the show ends. So they can... I don't really know how much changes you need to make in the first episode based on how the show ends, but...
That's true.
Definitely towards the middle part of the season and going into the end of the season, like, it's definitely helpful for the editors to know how the show ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then did they say, I think they said like, "Oh, let's get a cake tonight and we'll celebrate your birthday at midnight." Is that a thing?
Yes.
Is that a normal thing? Or is that just like a thing they decided to do? Because
I feel like that's... Some people do that. Sure, why not?
Okay.
It's technically accurate.
All right. I've never done it before, but okay. I mean, I barely celebrate birthdays at all, so
that's true.
That's
I don't know that you're the person to ask on this front, but yeah.
And then they start bringing up, oh, maybe we should go shopping for some things that we need around the house, which is like, they weren't necessarily talking about just food, but I think that's mostly what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like they were talking, like the vibe was, oh, okay, let's make a list and then we'll go tomorrow and get stuff.
Yeah.
But then Galray's just like, yeah, I can just go tonight. just me.
Yeah. And then Jumi looks at him and goes, "Do you want to go alone?" And there is a long, awkward silence. And then Jiyoung goes, "I'll go with you." I'm like...
Not just Jiyoung saying she wanted to go, but they made it seem like, yeah, Jumi says, "Do you want to go alone?" Not asking if she can go with him in a weird way, but maybe in a backwards way, like she wants to go with him. I can't actually tell.
I think she wants to go with him, and
she has
messed this up. Yeah.
But then Human like stops looking at her, and there's a silence. At least this is how it looks. And then he looks all the way down the table and across the table to Jiyoung and looks at her. And then Jiyoung is like, "Oh, you know what? I haven't been drinking, so I couldn't drive to the store."
Yes.
Actually, now that I think about it, I bet Gyaoray was drinking because Jiyoung ends up driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And he feels really weird being in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
So...
As if like he probably would not. He would have driven if he had it not been drinking. So I think you're right. It was like a joke he was making. Okay. So the grocery store team ends up being only 2 people on this show, which is rare, I feel like.
First date of the show. A little grocery shopping date. Good job.
Is this considered an unofficial date, Sarah?
Yeah, this is definitely an unofficial
date. Okay.
Unofficial date, as far as I'm concerned.
This is the first date of the show, right? It's just not official.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it seems like they have a fun time. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So you think Jumi wanted to go?
Yeah.
The only reason I thought wasn't 100% sure if that's right is like, so would you rather be on team grocery store or on team stay at the house and maybe clean up?
If you are interested in the person going for groceries, a one-on-one grocery store time is perfect. That's a great move. If you're not interested in them, I think even if you're just vaguely, like if you're not specifically interested in them, but you're just, getting to know folks, like, yeah, having one-on-one time with somebody seems like a good idea.
Okay. I mean, my instinct, even if it was the guy that suggested like, "Oh, I can go," I'd be like, "I'll go with you."
Yeah.
Like I would have just said that. Which is kind of how I felt Jumi was saying it. Like theoretically, she's most interested in Mingyu, right? That's who she texted,
Yeah.
and he has not offered yet to go grocery shopping. So
Mm-hmm.
she asked it in a way of like, "Do you want to go alone?" Instead of being like, "I'll go with you," so you're not alone. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got the vibe that she wanted to be maybe wherever Mingyu was.
Okay.
Or wasn't so worried about being with Gyaorei. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Okay. I still think the move is like just go do the
Yeah, I would go
one-on-one
just
time with
because,
somebody.
I don't want the person. I just don't want it to be awkward. Plus, I also would not have been drinking and would be able to drive. So,
See, there you
it would have just me if if all the girls were drinking, it would have just been me and Gyaorei
go.
going to get
That's
stuff.
okay. We've seen, plenty of bro
Yeah,
dates on these shows
that
that
is
are,
that a
are
terrible
fun.
move
Yeah.
though? Now it's just like the three girls and the one guy that's not me.
Oh yeah. That is a bad move. 100%.
I
You
still
have
would have
given
done
a
it.
gift to the person you left behind.
I still would have done it for sure.
Mm.
So yeah, Gyaorei and Ji-young leave to go to the store. Ji-young drives, but
Yep.
it's not her car. This was a little weird. I guess it's like a production car, or is
Yeah,
it
I
his?
think it's a production car.
Because it also seems like they're like saying like, oh, I've never driven this car before. Like they don't know exactly how to do all the knobs and settings and stuff. But it also seems
Yeah.
like Gyaorei also is not familiar with the car, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine that they'd be borrowing somebody else's car already, but maybe they are.
Yeah, I think it's just a
I don't
car
know who
for
arrived
production
in
is
their
there.
own cars
Yeah.
versus taxis or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since Gyaorei has been in the passenger seat. But I mean, I think he's pretty relaxed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some people are like they need to be in control and that's why they always
Yeah.
drive kind of people, but he doesn't seem to mind that she's driving at all. And he says she's a good driver. I like Gyaorei so far. He seems cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And they basically get food and a cake for G1, right?
Yes.
Nothing huge once they get to the grocery store. Is more just like they were cute in the car together, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good vibes from these two.
Yeah,
already.
definitely good vibes. I like it.
And then back at the house, they be drinking, Sarah.
They are drinking, yeah. And talking about drinking.
Yes. I'd be like, God damn it, I should have gone to the grocery store.
But yeah, Jimin says that she gets quiet when she's with someone she likes if she's been drinking. And if she's with her friends when she's been drinking, she gets really loud. So
did she say this all under the qualifier of if she's been drinking?
yes.
Or was this like an in general? Like,
no, I think it's because they were
without
specifically
drinking?
talking about like their drink, like how they act when they've been drinking.
Okay. All right. Point of note for later.
Yep.
Because I wrote down like, oh, I guess she's been mostly quiet. Like I wouldn't say she was being loud. So I was like, if it applies to when she's not drinking, I would say, oh, she must like somebody.
Right.
But maybe it doesn't meet all the conditions. I don't know.
Yeah, it's specifically drinking time that this applies to.
Yeah.
Or not just drinking, being drunk, like when she's drunk.
When she's drunk, okay. All right. Then Jiyeon and Gyaorei get back.
Yeah.
And they go to the kitchen with just them two.
Mm-hmm. Spend some more quality time together.
They're preparing some snacks for the drinking people.
Yeah, washing the fruit, putting some cheese and crackers out.
So they get a little extra flirt time alone.
Mm-hmm. And we get the edit tells us that Jiwon's looking maybe a little jealous about this.
Yeah.
He's looking from the table.
That one actually confused me because they did show him looking over, but instead of like there being like a noise in the actual like edit, it was like, oh, the hosts are telling us what this one means. So this one actually threw me off a little bit in terms of like whether I should believe it or not.
Okay.
The hosts also say that at one point, like just a little bit, Gyaorei may have been like speaking informally to Jiyeon. Did you catch that part? Like he said something about how he said like she said something or asked a question and he said like okay twice in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And he
in
said
a casual
I
way.
don't know how you say okay. I guess there's like or maybe just like the concept of okay is like an informal speak. I don't know what the English translation of the formal version of okay is, but yeah. So that indicates some level of comfortability where he doesn't even realize that theoretically doesn't realize that he is speaking informally.
Right.
And then everybody moves to the courtyard Got to hit all
Yeah,
the rooms
they
before
light
the end
up
of
the
the night.
little fire pit.
Yeah. And then Jiwon teases Jimin for being quiet.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like, "You sleepy?" And she's like, "No, I must like someone here."
Yeah. Do you think Jiwon wasn't referencing what she said earlier and then she brought it back full circle? Or was
Yeah, I
Jiwon in
think
on the joke?
she brought it full circle because
Oh,
he does say like something about her being sleepy,
so Jiwon didn't even know that he was referencing a past
like teeing her up
conversation.
for this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then she's like,
Yeah.
"No, no, no, I'm not drunk, so it doesn't mean anything."
Oh, okay. That's what. Okay, there you go. So it was supposed to mean she
Yeah.
hides it, but we think she likes somebody.
Yeah. At
Okay.
least surface level,
Yeah.
That's what she's here to do, right?
Yeah. And then Mingyu comes in here and it's like, Jimin, I figured out who you look like. This is always a fun thing to do
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
show. And apparently, Jimin looks like John Ji Hyun,
Yeah.
which I looked up and I think I found the right person, and I think it's a Korean actress
Yes.
who must
Yes.
be famous enough for everybody to know who that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Says she's 41 years old though, so I guess it's more of a reference to her movies when she's younger. Although if I'm looking at current pictures of her, she doesn't look like she's 41, but I might be
Yeah.
looking at old pictures of her. I'm not sure. I'm assuming Jimin is a little bit younger than 41.
Hey, we don't know. It's
We
only
don't know
day
their
one. We're not
ages.
allowed to talk about ages or occupations yet. Jimin is very pleased at this comparison, and
I
she says,
love Jimin's reaction to this.
she's like, "Oh, this guy's my type. Good job."
Not just that. Okay, we have to really break this down.
Okay.
Jimin like gives her instinct is just she gives Mingyu like a high five, but it's not like a little high five. It's like a real good high five, I
Mhm.
think. And then she's like, "He's my type," as if to say like she likes Mingyu now
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
because of that comment was so nice. It's so nice to be compared to this actress.
Mhm.
But like I don't think there's any way that the other two girls would react like this if a guy told them they looked like
Oh,
a
yeah.
famous
Yeah.
actress, you know? Like there is a personality difference to like an extreme level between Jimin and the other two girls. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a fair read on that.
Yeah. It's very more of like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see the other two girls give as good of a high five for the entire season is what I'll say.
All right, okay. I'll be on the lookout for all the high fives.
Yeah. So this seemed to be like a really good compliment.
Yeah.
Or Jimin at least really liked this compliment.
Yeah,
I also
definitely.
think I think it's looking at these pictures that I'm looking at, I think it's actually accurate too.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
it's a fair comparison, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think midnight rolls around. I think on this show, it could be the same on Transit Love too. I think at midnight is when they have to text people.
Yeah, there's either a cuckoo clock or somebody's texting alert sounds like a cuckoo clock.
Yeah. I remember in Heart Signal 2 they had like this clock that was on like one of the nightstands or something.
Yeah.
And it had like half a heart on the two hands of the clock, and then when it was midnight with both the hands up, like it would make the heart shape.
Yeah.
On
And
the
that's
thing.
when they
And
had
that
to
was
text.
theoretically like signal time
Mm-hmm.
in the signal house. So yeah, midnight rolls around, so they have to text people again.
Yes. And now it's text the person you feel drawn to tonight.
Yeah.
We get a little flash of the rules for texting, but they don't translate it. But I took a
Okay.
picture with my phone and ran it through my translation.
Oh,
app.
this is good. Okay, give it to me.
Okay, it's not nothing that special.
All right.
The first one is just like, please save this mailbox number. Like this is the number you're going to be texting.
Okay. Garbage.
Every
information.
night you can only send one message to the opposite sex.
All
Okay,
right,
we
we knew
knew
that.
that. If you send a text message to the mailbox of the person you like, the heart signal messenger will forward it to them anonymously. And then the last one is, however, please refrain from directly expressing yourself in the text.
Okay.
So there's our rule of be vague. You cannot actually say
But like
too
I could
much.
be like, I like your outfit. Like that's not
Yeah.
that's not like professing your love or anything like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Like we got a text in Translove 2 that was like, "You are attractive," but like I guess that's still fine too because it doesn't.
Yeah. And it's also like,
You're stating it more like a fact than you are like
yeah,
I'm in love with you kind of.
exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about what's the strategy here, Sarah. We've never seen this before. 2 texts on night 1, on day 1.
Yeah,
So they've already texted somebody.
that's true.
Now that person doesn't know they text them necessarily, so that.
I mean, if they're a woman, yeah, they don't know who texted them because the men sent garbage texts. But
Oh yeah, the guys.
some of the
might know.
guys might have a clue of who texted them.
I mean, we were able to figure it out. I don't know. The thank you for taking care of me. That one. So Gyare
that one should be
probably know that's
yeah.
That's Jiyeon.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you get a double smiley face,
Yeah, that's you
don't
know
know
who that's from.
And thank you for advancing for dinner tonight. We deduced that that's probably Jumi because she was the only one in the
She
room
was the only one around
when the jokes about the cooking happened. But I feel like it might have got brought up multiple times that Minkyu is gonna cook, so almost all the girls could have been in on that joke, except for maybe Jimin because she got there late, so it might be able to narrow it down a little bit. But yeah, but what's the strategy? Like, my instinct is I'm not texting a different person unless something like really big happened where I really want like a different girl to know I'm thinking about them, or I'm just like, wait, the girl I texted first is like, I don't actually like this girl. Or like something really big would have to happen for me to switch, I think.
I think for me, the strat is ignore the text earlier and just go based on what has happened since then. You know?
Really? Okay.
I mean,
I mean,
the text earlier, unless you're like the 2 first people in the door and you spend the whole day like actually having a chance to talk, like you're basing the first text on nothing. Like there's no connection yet. You just, that person looks hot, sure.
yeah.
But you have the rest of the evening to actually like talk to people and interact. Like cooking time is a good time to like, make a memory that you can reference in your text so they'll know it's you.
Yeah.
I think it just entirely depends on what happens in the evening.
Yeah. I guess overall, though, for me, it feels like nothing big happened. I guess you could say, like, Galray and Jiyoung going to the grocery store, like, maybe that's a big enough moment that if they didn't text each other before,
they should now.
Now, we think they did already, so... But like maybe that's a big enough thing that happened that you would switch your text for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything else that happened that I saw, to me, didn't seem big enough for me to switch.
Okay.
But I guess like you have to be there. I guess like maybe there's a vibe, but like you get a change in personality vibe. So from what I saw, I think I'd still be texting Jimin here.
Okay.
And then maybe at this point I'd be comfortable enough to just like try to reference something that she knows it's me.
Yeah.
That'd probably be what I'd do.
Okay.
And you must not have a vibe switch because you said you still like
Jiyeon I still like Jiyeon, I think.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah.
All right. And then we go to the host, Sarah, on the show.
And it is so long and forever taking.
Yeah. So guessing is a weird exercise on the show, which kind of feels silly because I think I said this before, like the edit almost gives it away to you, and then maybe there's like one person where you're not sure,
right?
Because the edit gave you enough to make it 2 people plausible. If you're watching the show, like I know some people that are watching Transit Love 2 with us, when we said we were going to talk about Heart Signal, they were like, I used to watch Heart Signal, but I think it's boring, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you think the show is boring, just fast forward through this part of the show. If you like, I really kind of tune out at this part. I do want to know who texted who, but if, basically they're going to have this whole segment and they're going to show the arrows of who texted who. And then after we know that, we're going to like cut back to the house. And then we're also going to have a segment of them getting the text at the house. So it's really like they're duplicating the segment. You could almost fast forward to this whole host talking and just see the text that gets sent. Maybe you wouldn't know the senders. Like you'd have to go watch.
You could just see the final. They like make a graphic. All the arrows.
Just go
look
at
that,
and
then see the actual text.
Yeah, because you don't even get to see the content of the text until they go back to the house. That's like theoretically more interesting.
Yeah, that's more interesting.
Who texted who? Yeah, it is a kind of a fun exercise to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you just spend that whole whatever, how many minutes of the host talking and just think about it yourself.
Yeah.
But when we do it, it probably takes 1 minute.
Exactly.
And we just convince ourselves. So I thought 5 of them were pretty obvious based on
Yeah.
the edit. And
Mm-hmm.
then the one I was hung up on was G1. Who would G1 text? Is that the one that you
Oh,
were hung
okay.
up on? No.
No.
Oh, okay. Which one were you hung up
I
on?
Jumi and Mingyu. I didn't know which way they were. No, just Jumi. I didn't know which way Jumi was going.
Jumi. I just went with there was literally no evidence to suggest that she should switch, right? So that was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
why I just the logic of why would you switch unless something happens.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I guessed that she would pick the same person
okay.
she picked
So you got
earlier,
everything
but like
right.
I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I got everything
I
right.
ultimately I wrote down it's either G Young or G Min for G1, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I got confused with like G Min was looking at G1, and I guess maybe G1 wasn't returning the looks as much, but I kind of like assumed he was, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, let's just run through it. We'll just run through the who texts who real fast, okay?
Okay.
Or do we just
Well,
want to
we'll just do it
reveal
how
it?
we normally do it. Yeah, we'll
Let's just
read the
reveal it
text
as
and
we
then
go.
say who
Okay,
they are. Yeah.
screw the host system. We're out. All right. Okay, to reiterate though, for anybody's first time with these shows, we know who texted who because we just watched the host segment and they told us, but the contestants do not know who they're getting text from.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mingyu gets his text.
I enjoyed the steak thanks to you. Next time will be abalone cake.
Yeah, I tried to look this up really fast and I have no idea what it is. It was like actually like a little bit complicated. I
Yeah.
have no idea what it is.
Well,
Abalone
it
cake.
came up when they were
Or is it abalone cake?
abalone cake. Sure.
That
It
sounds
came up when they were
gross.
talking about getting a cake for G1's birthday.
They were saying some crazy shit in that segment.
They were, yeah,
They were
and it
talking
came
about
up
chicken
then.
cake and
Yeah, I don't know what that is
it
either.
looked like they just got him a normal cake, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they got him a normal
Maybe we
cake. I'm
won't
pretty
find out till
sure
next episode.
that's true. But yeah, so this is from Chumi.
Yeah.
She
And he gets a text from Jumi.
stuck with her cooking based.
Jumi does not
text.
switch. There was nothing that happened that
Mm-hmm.
should make her switch. Jiwon gets a text.
Happy birthday. Terrible text. It's a terrible text.
Yes, because it's from Jimin. Yeah, Jimin failed here.
Yeah.
It's from Jimin. So Jimin sticks with her original text.
Yes,
All
she
right.
does.
Galray gets a text.
You're a good cook.
Also pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad.
But this might have been something she specifically said.
Yeah,
I think the host,
yeah, because this is Ji Young, and so like
the
when
host
they
made
were,
it seem like she said it before, but I didn't remember.
yeah, maybe when they were preparing the fruit and the snacks after the grocery shop store trip, she was just like, "Oh, look, see, you're a great cook,"
Yeah.
or some joke like that.
Still, all 3 girls texting a separate guy.
Yeah.
No real reason for there to be animosity based in the romantic aspect of the show. It is.
Yes.
It is beyond the show, I believe.
And yet, the weird vibe remains.
Yeah, of course. Again, the weird vibe is when they're sitting in the room waiting to get their texts, and like they're seeing how many, like the phone is gonna buzz every time you get a text, so they're like, "Oh, this person got 2, and this person got 1, and this person got 0." Is awkward, yeah. Whereas the guys are at least like 2 guys are in one room, the one guy's by himself, and then the 2 guys in their room, like I guess they kind of know that the other person's getting text, but I guess they're both getting 1, so it's not like it feels like, hey, we both got 1, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's chill.
Yeah. But I still don't think like, oh, if one guy got 2 texts and one guy got 0 and they were in the same room, I don't think there would be a lot of like animosity between the guys about it. It would just be like the one person would just be sad. But but they wouldn't be like annoyed at the other guy for it, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls are all in their room again,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the text. Jiyeon gets a text.
I hope we get to spend more time together. Have a good night.
Yeah, so this was a little weird because it was like doubling down on the terrible text from before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, this one must be from G1, and he like switched his person. So he's like
Uh,
redoing the same text essentially because he's texting a new person.
oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I kind of thought this one was the one from Kyori because, like, he says he wants to spend more time together, and they did get to spend time together
I mean,
today.
everybody's
Like,
spent time together, quote
yeah, but they
unquote.
specifically spent time
Okay.
alone together. I don't know. Maybe not.
Even after you saw the second text, you think this is?
I don't think there's anything specific about the second text that makes me think it's one way or the other.
I
It's
just think it's crazy if Gyaorei texted the first time. Let's see what he texted. He texted, "It was nice to meet you. I hope we get to know each other more." Right? That's what we
yeah,
think he texted. And then the second time
yeah,
he gets a chance to text, he says, "I hope we get to spend more time together. Have a good night." Like that's a little too
yeah.
same.
Sure,
It's
I
a
don't
little
know.
too samey. But it would
Yeah,
make
they're all
sense.
bad at texting.
But it would make sense if G1 the
Okay.
first time texted something along the lines of, "It was nice to meet you. I hope we get along." And then he switches to a new girl and says, "I hope we get to spend more time together. Have a good night." Like that seems like the same kind of sentiment.
Okay.
So I don't know. I
Fair.
think this is G1. But
But
Ji-yeon is going to get another text. So she has two this time.
yes.
Somebody
And
switched.
you must have felt quite nervous today. Hope you have a restful night.
Smiley face.
Smiley face, yes.
But this wasn't an emoji. I think it was like the Poland
Yeah, like an emoticon. Like you had to
emoticon.
type
Yeah,
that shit out.
that's what I still do. I like the emoticons. I think this one's Gyaorei. Not a
Okay.
great text if it's Gyaorei, because like
Yep.
he
He
should have
had
been
things to
like, "I
reference,
had fun
like,
shopping with you," or
or you're a
something
great
very
driver,
obvious.
or yeah,
Yeah,
anything.
your driving was impressive. That's a really good text.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, both not great texts, but hey, Gion's got two texts now, so things are changing from the guy's ends.
Yep, yep.
And then Jimin gets a text. Let's go.
You worked hard cleaning up until the very end. Sleep deeply without dreams.
That's a weird thing to say.
It's such a
If it
weird
was
thing
like
to say.
if it was like don't have nightmares, that would be like
Yeah.
a little more
Okay.
sense, but also a weird thing to say.
Unless she had been
But it's
talking
like,
about how she frequently has nightmares.
yeah,
But yeah,
like,
I
or
don't
at
know.
least say like,
Just
"I hope you have good dreams," or I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Do not dream. That's a weird thing to say.
Don't go on a fun adventure in your head while you're asleep.
Yeah,
How dare you?
yeah. But this is Minkyu.
Mingyu. Yeah.
Mingyu switches to Jimin,
Yep.
which
Because
is
he figured out who she looks like. And she said that he was her type. So he's like,
yeah,
okay, let's go.
yeah. I guess there was that moment, and then there was just the show just kind of made it obvious. Like they, even if the moments like were totally meaningless, they showed a bunch of like
Them making eye contact.
Jimin
And
looks
yeah.
into the kitchen, and then Mingi's looking in the direction of Jimin, but like we don't see
Yeah.
it. We don't see both of them at the same time, but we get shots of them looking at each other theoretically.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but if he was spending the entire day trying to figure out who she looks like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jumi gets no text. Sad Jumi.
Sad Jumi.
This would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it,
definitely.
With this, I feel like it hurts more getting two texts earlier in the day and then getting zero. Just
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, thought you were hot, but then I found out your personality, so forget it. Like,
Oh, that's how you interpret it? Yeah, I wouldn't have
yes.
immediately interpreted it like looks versus personality necessarily, but I would just be thinking like, what did I do over the course of what is it, like 8 hours or
Yeah.
less than that? What did I do over the course of 8 hours that made two guys switch?
Yeah,
And in
exactly.
reality, it's like probably has nothing to do with her. It's just like something about like they basically got to meet Jimin and they didn't get to meet her before, right?
Well, that's true for one. And the other one just got to spend more time with some, like, they just got to spend more time with other people,
Oh yeah, one switched to Jiyeon. I actually so G1 was the one that threw me off. I thought he was gonna pick. I thought he was gonna switch to Jimin.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm also a little confused, like why G1 texted Ju-mi in the beginning. If we don't even know if that's 100% true, but we're just guessing. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't think Ju-mi really did anything other than she was maybe a little bit more quiet. So I'm sure these are just like the guys are probably not putting as much thought into it and just like going gut instinct on these things.
Yeah, yeah.
If I
And
had
then
to
the
guess.
next day, the text will be different again. Like these early texts
Yeah, maybe.
don't
Well,
mean that much.
once they start doing things like they forced to go on dates and whatnot, it's like there's kind of like a
Awkward
hey, we did
obligation to
something
text
together
to you.
today. I
Yeah,
texted
exactly.
them, which is like the only two people that did something together was Jiyeon and Yaorei, and they both
Yeah.
texted each other. So that's
Hmm.
that's usually how they do text. Like
Yeah,
let's
you text the person you spend time with during the day.
yeah. So in a way, like these texts theoretically might be kind of meaningful because of that. Like it's like
But they're just based on nothing
it's
though.
it's
Like
in terms of personality, it's probably a weak selection, but it is a little bit of like
baseline attraction, yeah.
baseline
Okay.
attraction, which can really snowball out of control sometimes, where like some people
That's
just
true.
hyper focus on one person based on
Yeah.
minimal things that happened on the first day. So it means something. And then I thought the show was going to be over, but then we have a quick little thing where we find out that Jiyeon is allergic to flour.
Yeah.
And man, that sounds rough to be
That
allergic to
does sound rough.
flour. Yeah.
Yeah. Weren't they eating pasta earlier? That oof. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I guess
wondering,
she was just
is
eating
it
the steak.
like,
I don't know.
yeah, because it didn't seem like it was like a gluten thing. I don't know.
I just assumed it was a gluten thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yorei is
That's
concerned about
intense.
it because
Yeah,
he's talking about breakfast or something, and he's just like, "But what will she eat?"
they show it because Gyore is like thinking about it, actively thinking about her basically, and then is
Hmm.
already considering her allergies and stuff, which is yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
This could be the early couple up that never changes the whole season. What do you think?
Oh, they will never see them. They will never make the edit.
Well, they're still gonna be forced to go on dates with other
Oh, that's
people,
true.
but at some point it might just be yeah, these two are together. Yeah. All right, that's the end of the show, sir.
Yeah.
Nice.
What'd you think? Pretty good?
I like this show.
Yeah.
I totally get like if you want every moment of your TV show to be entertaining, this is not the show for you because the host segments are a little too much on this show.
Yeah, they are longer than they need to be.
In terms of the contents of like, hey, this is going to be like a feel good, mostly feel good romantic reality TV show. I like the vibes of the show.
Yeah. The meat of the show I also like a lot.
Yeah. Maybe it's because of the first impression text that they had to do, but it does seem like okay, we're moving a lot faster in terms of people
Mm.
trying to flirt, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Than at least some of the other shows we've watched. So that's fun to see. I'm actually curious to see how quickly things move along this season compared to some of these other shows.
Yeah, I think that was a good change they put in.
Yeah. I wrote down stuff from the previews for next time.
Okay.
All right. It seems like some dates might happen already.
Yeah, it definitely looked like dates. I was almost a little like, is this a preview for next episode or just like, ooh, look at the rest of the season. Stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. But it seems like Jiwon and Jumin are gonna go on a date.
Okay.
And Jumi, sorry. Yaorei and Ji Young are gonna go on the date.
Ooh,
Their
second
their
date.
second date, but it's their first official date, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Mingyu and Jimin on a date. Did you see that in the preview? I did not
I don't think I saw
notice
that.
But theoretically, it would make sense if
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
went on a date. And then this seems like it should happen next episode that they get to reveal their occupations and or maybe age.
Yes,
And
we do
then-
have some shocked gasps
Yeah,
that we
it
see.
seems like Yao Rei's occupation is going to be a big reveal. Maybe his age, I don't know, but he's about to say something, and then everybody has like all the women at least have a very shocked face.
Mm-hmm.
What is the occupation that makes you shocked? Is he a doctor?
Should that be shocking? I guess I don't know. My default goes to things that would not be true on a Korean TV show. I'd be like, you'd be shocked if he's like, and I act in porn, but that's not going to be on the
Okay.
show. So I don't know what you'd be shocked about.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I feel like doctor is like usually a big reaction on these shows.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, I wouldn't guess that he's a doctor, so if he was,
Okay,
that would actually
yeah.
be shocking.
Okay.
And then the other guy wakes up at like 6. They think he might be like an
Yeah.
athlete or something. Which
Or like a coach or something, yeah.
I could see that for him. He's got that like control the room
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
vibes. Like, yeah, he could be a coach for sure. But yeah, all right. That's about it, I think,
Yep.
for the previews. I'm
Pretty much
excited.
it.
I mean, if they're doing dates in the next episode, I'm excited.
So soon. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I'm ready for it. Why not? Get to it. Because everybody's got to date everybody, and then we got to add new people, and then they got to date everybody. And then, yeah, more dates, the better. Let's go.
Dates on dates on dates.
All right. You want to talk about next time on the podcast?
Yes. Next time, we're going to cover Transit Love Season 2, Episode 10.
Yes, that'll be the next podcast that drops after this one.
Yeah. And then after that, we will come back to Heart Signal, doing Episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah, which we're trying to do one podcast a week. So in 1 week, we'll do Transit Love. 2 weeks from now, Heart Signal. Back to Heart Signal, doing episode 2 and 3.
So we can keep up.
That'll be a lot of content. I don't know. That's going to be a podcast. We'll see how. We'll see how doing 2 episodes in one podcast works. We'll either have to be more brief, or it's going to be a really long podcast, or we're going to have to come up with a new strategy after we see how long that takes. But okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited for everything.
Yeah.
Do you want to say, if you only are thinking about episode 1 of these 2 shows, which one do you like? Which one do you prefer? So this show, we say we like the vibes of it, but the one thing this is missing is like, there was this fun game you play as a viewer in the other show where like you're trying to figure out the mystery of whose ex is with whose, based on like the awkwardness, like how like everybody's awkward with each other, but there might be like extra awkwardness when two exes see each other.
So yeah, if we're just talking first episode, I'd go with Transit Love just for that fun awkwardness. I feel like as Transit Love evolved as a show, the awkwardness turned into sad times. You know, like there became a toxic sort of vibe with these people dealing with their exes, which is less fun. But first episode, that guessing who might be whose ex is pretty fun.
Yeah. For me, maybe it's just refreshing because we're like 9 episodes deep into Transit Love right now. But there was like a refreshingness to just seeing like, okay, I know all these reactions are genuine and no one is actively like trying to hide a secret other than the usual age and occupation. So I felt refreshed by this atmosphere, and I think I enjoyed this more. But
fair.
Not totally fair because I'm coming off of the middle of a Transit Love season. I didn't watch both episodes. First episodes back to back and then judge them like that. But
I understand the response. You know? I get it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how as we go. I'm excited for Heart Signal.
Yeah.
Both shows still good. I'm not trying to knock on any show. We're just
gotta compare.
Maybe we'll get more passionate about our opinions later, but right now both shows still enjoying.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Where can people contact us, Sarah, and let us know any comments they have?
They can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment under the video on YouTube, also at keepwatchingpod. And if they want to send us their own heart signals, they can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
You'd be like, I really hope that we get to know you better as I listen to the podcast.
Have a nice sleep with no dreams.
This review was done by Anonymous. You can't compliment my outfit. That's unfortunate.
I mean, they can just assume that you have a good sense of style based on the way you speak. I don't know.
That's what the host would do on the show. It'd be like somebody be walking in, like haven't even seen their outfit yet. They're just like looking at their facial expressions, and they'll be like, this person seems like they have a good sense of style. Alrighty. This was fun. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.